Ashley, and this is another edition of Sparky Loves Books BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the unpopular book opinion tag. I was tagged by Mary from Books and Cookies to do this tag, and I'm so excited about this. I've been waiting for an opportunity to do it. I've been seeing some other people do it, and I thought about just doing it myself without having been tagged, but Mary tagged me, and that's super awesome. It gives me an excuse to do it now, so thanks, Mary. I really appreciate it. I will leave a link to her video below, and yeah, this is a lot of fun, and we're just gonna get right into it. I will start out by saying these are just my bookish opinions, and if you don't agree, that's fine. Everybody has different book opinions. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it interesting. If everybody had the same opinions, it would be really, really boring. Just that little disclaimer that these are my own feelings, but obviously you are entitled to your own, so leave me entitled to mine. Number 1 is a popular book or book series that you did not like, and for me that is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I know this is a lot of people's favorite Shadowhunter series. Personally, I just did not find it interesting at all. While it was cool to be in the London Institute, and while I adored Jem Carstairs to no end, I did not buy into the story as much with the clockwork figurines themselves. I did not like Tessa as a character, and I didn't like the three-way relationship with her and Jem and Will. Will seems to be a character favorite. People adore him and want to protect him and just find him amazing, and I just didn't get that with Will. Jem, I think, is a very sweet, very wonderful, humble, and selfless person, and I adored him as a character, but not so much Tessa or Will, and not so much any of the other B characters. I don't even remember any of their names, honestly, besides Jessamine. Charlotte Branwell? Yeah, I think that was her name. See, this is so bad. If you can't even remember the names of a series, like characters, it clearly didn't make an impression on you. But I just found the Mortal Instruments so much more compelling, and I cared more about all the characters. I thought they were a lot more interesting and a lot more dynamic and developed. Number 2 is a popular book or book series that you love that everyone else seems to hate. For this one, I'm picking Panic by Lauren Oliver. I really have been hearing sort of bad things from everybody that I know who's read it, both like personally in the real world, my real friends and my online friends. None of them seem to have liked it. It doesn't have a particularly low rating on Goodreads from what I remember, but it's still, in the circles that I know, wasn't very popular at all. Most people found it hard to get through if they got through it at all. I really enjoyed it, honestly. I liked the writing, I liked the story that was told, so that's one that I think actually was done very well that it seems most people don't think was done very well. Number 3 is a love triangle where the main character didn't end up with who you wanted them to end up with, or an OTP that you can't stand. For this one, I'm picking an OTP that I don't like, and that is Melanie and Jared from The Host. I don't understand how anybody can like Jared. Honestly, when you have a wonderfully perfect character in Ian O'Shea, I think he is a fantastic human, and he is an example role model of a person and a well-developed person, and I just ranted and raved about Ian O'Shea in my previous video about my book boyfriends, so if you want to know how I feel about Ian O'Shea, you can go to that video. But Jared just seems so flat and so judgmental and not at all passionate or intelligent or interesting to me. And Melanie, while I like Melanie, I find her relationship with Wanda so much cooler. Just the way that they grow and intertwine with each other is so interesting. And Melanie and Jared seemed very forced. They seemed like they were supposed to be in love in order to make you really feel their struggle and their yearning for each other and buy into their story, but I just didn't buy into it. So that is a huge no TP for me, especially because Ian and Wanda are like one of my top 3 favorite book couples of all time. So Melanie and Jared are just like, no thank you. Number 4 is a book genre that you hardly reach for, and I hardly reach for mysteries. Tana French or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gillian Flynn. I don't read any Gillian Flynn. Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. Maybe one day I'll be tired of reading all the genres I've already read and I'll dip into the mystery genre, but for now I just have no interest in reading them. I know that they make for cool stories because you have to kind of figure out what's going on and they're really page turning, but I just don't feel the need to reach for them personally. Number 5 is a popular or beloved book character that you don't like. If you've been watching my videos, this should be no surprise to you. For me, this character is Anna Oliphant from Anna and the French Kiss. I can't stand Anna. I think she is full of whining self-pity, and she's kind of stupid, and she's kind of despicable, and I can't stand anything about her. She needed to just not be so judgy and open her eyes, try and experience the world around her without being so melodramatic and acting like she was in a soap opera all the time. And she was so dumb about France. Like, she was so ignorant, and it was so irritating. So yeah, can't stand Anna Oliphant. I'm sorry that I keep harping on that in all my videos. Hopefully this will be the last time I ever say that, so sorry. Number 6 is a popular author you just can't seem to get into. For this one, I'm picking Rainbow Rowell because I have tried reading Fangirl, tried reading Eleanor Park. I thought I was gonna love it because a lot of other people had loved it, and when I first was reading it, I was like, oh, I like this story, this is good. But as it went on, I was just like, nah, this is an okay story, but like the thing I care about most is Eleanor's home life. I really want to get in the details of how she lives, like with no money, like how she deals with showering and stuff. It's just like skirts the surface of that issue, and I wanted to know more about that. None of that was talked about, and Park was kind of a douchebag in that book, honestly, in my opinion. And then Fangirl, again, this was in a recent video of mine. I don't like Fangirl. I just didn't find any of it as relatable as I wanted it to be. Again, a lot of people like her, so I just had assumed that I would like Fangirl, and I didn't, and that was a huge letdown. I have a lot of problems with Rainbow Rowell's characters and their relationships and her writing, and actually Mary said in her video she had a problem with the way that Rainbow Rowell ends her books because they're not ended very well. So when she said that, I kind of thought, I was like, oh, you're right. She doesn't know how to end books. Number 7 is a popular book trope that you're tired of seeing. For this one I have 2. The first one is the lost or rebel princess trope. This trope is, you know, where a princess has been away for a while, but all of a sudden she starts to try and gain her kingdom back, or she's rediscovered by her kingdom, or she leads an uprising to get her kingdom back. Something along those lines. For examples of this, you can find them in the Defiance trilogy by C.J. Redwine, the Lumateer Chronicles by Melina Marchetta, Throne of Glass, Queen of the Tearling, The Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson, The Orphan Queen, The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. There's a lot of examples of this out there, and it's a lot of modern young adult literature that's been coming out the last like 5 years, and I think it's kind of tired at this point. If I read another one of those kinds of books, I'm gonna stop reading young adult altogether, honestly. I'm just gonna give up on it, I think. The other trope is the At Last I See the Light trope, which is where you have 2 characters who have been best friends forever, or who have known each other for a long time, and then suddenly they sort of look to each other, and all of a sudden they see, you've been in front of me all this time, and I never realized that you were the one for me. You know the one I'm talking about. Oh, it's you. You know what I'm talking about. Number 8 is a popular book or book series that you have no interest in reading. For me, this is The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I read the synopsis of this book, and it seems like a book I've already read. It just seems like a princess version of Red Rising, and I have no interest in reading it. Red Rising is beyond well enough for me. Red Rising is one of my favorite books of all time, so I have no interest in reading The Red Queen. Not gonna pick it up. And number 9 is a movie adaptation that you liked better than the book. I have a couple for these, actually. The first one that came to mind for me was The Fault in Our Stars. One, because I have a hard time getting into John Green's writing on its own, and 2, the movie was just really awesome. It was great to see all of those scenes played out, and I think that Shailene Woodley did a great job as Hazel Grace Lancaster, and I just really loved it. It made me emotional, and it was really well done. Some other movies I liked better than the books are Brooklyn, which is the movie that was just made with Saoirse Ronan. Lord of the Rings. Now, I do love the Lord of the Rings books. I was obsessed with them in middle school, but I like the movie better. I'm even more obsessed with the movies, so that's why I put this on this list. And also The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks. Also, if we can include TV shows in here, I'm going to include The Vampire Diaries. I really don't like The Vampire Diaries book series at all, but the TV show I'm absolutely obsessed with. Also, the Vampire Academy movie, I'm not saying it's great. I just don't think that it was as bad as everybody else thinks it was. I'm not saying it's better than the book by any means, but if we're talking about unpopular opinions here, I think that the Vampire Academy movie, again, while it has its problems, and while Dimitri was casted very poorly, I loved Rose. I loved Rose and Lissa. I loved Christian. I thought they got the humor done very well. I thought that Rose still kicked ass. I just honestly don't see why everyone was like, no, this is horrible. I just figured I'd throw that in there while we're talking about unpopular opinions, because I just didn't see it as that bad of an adaptation, honestly. And that's it. Those are my bookish unpopular opinions. I'm just gonna tag Annie from Travel the World with a Flask of Tea, Alex from Las Páginas de Alex, and Audrey from Pocahontas Little Book Nook. If you want to see more videos, please subscribe below, and if you like this video, please give it a like, and thanks for watching. Happy reading!